and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of prayer. Thank you.
Council President Fire.
Here.
Alderman Wadawa.
Here.
Alderwoman Calderon.
Here.
Alderman Brickner.
Here.
Alderman Damon.
Here.
Alderwoman Fliss.
Here.
Mayor Tutai.
Here. Telephonic meeting, none.
The meeting has been properly posted and noticed.
Public hearings, none. Presentation, introduction of Police Chief David Feldmeyer.
Well, there you go. Introduce them.
Would the chief like any words to say? Yeah, welcome to your first Common Council meeting.
Thank
You
you.
have to talk for 25 minutes.
No.
Thank you, council, mayor. Thank you, residents. It's an honor to have been chosen as the police chief for St. Francis, and I look forward to working with all of you and keeping the city safe.
Thank you, Chief. And did anyone tell you these are 4-hour meetings? Whatever it takes. If it takes 6 hours, we do 6 hours.
Chief, there's your sign.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Citizens' comments.
None.
Don't know how to say this name. Ricky G? State your name and address, please.
Rick Urbanowicz, 4242 South Nicholson Avenue. Good evening, Council. I'm here to talk about my disappointment with the Common Council for not taking time to go to the Library Board meeting on February 11th after receiving an email from the Library Director concerning the MSA assessment needs for 2026. This is the same council that stated the library was in poor shape and needed numerous expensive repairs when I started to Save the St. Francis Library campaign. They also said they needed more information regarding the condition of the library. Here was the time for you to go and get your information concerning the library. Only Councilwoman Sarah Calderon and Chairperson for the library, Steve Wadawa, showed up for the council. It might have been because the city never posted the meeting on the city website until the afternoon of the meeting. I, for one, did not attend because of that reason. And when I was informed of the meeting, I had plans and that could not be changed. MSA took the time to discuss and answer any questions or concerns to the library board with so little representation from the Common Council present. It would have been a good time based on all the concerns the Common Council had last year concerning the library and possible movement to the Triangle. Now the library, City Hall, and Common Council have all the information they requested. Let's get a plan done to take care of the issues as soon as possible. The city owns the building, and because of that, should be held responsible for the major building repairs, not taking money from the library's budget. This could be a 2 or 3 year plan. Second of all, I am requesting that Council President Fire talk to all the council members and reconsider changing citizens' comments back to 3 minutes like it was in the good old days. 2-minute comments are not enough time for concerns and statements to the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Karen, and I'm going to murder this last name, I apologize.
Hi, my name is Karen Sahorsky. I live at 3535 East Sevier, and I'm a member of the Community for the Triangle. We're asking you to please check out our website at www.communityforthetriangle.com for a summary of facts regarding the Triangle. In our summer 2025 city newsletter, received in June, there was a proposed master plan as prepared by MSA dated September 2024 for the park, Vintner Park. This was for a public information meeting. The newsletter was announced already in June for the August 13th date at 5:30 to 7. City staff was made available to discuss the master plan revisions for the park. It stated your input would be provided to the St. Francis Community, or the Common Council, for final consideration. Why has the same not been done for the Triangle development? The Triangle is also public property owned by the citizens of St. Francis. We deserve the same opportunity to have input into this development, not just a few people behind closed doors. We are asking the Planning Commission and the Common Council to do the right thing, to deny the current PUD application for the Triangle if it includes any high-rise apartments. The comprehensive plan and the final future strategic plan must be followed.
You have 30 more seconds, ma'am.
The citizens of St. Francis deserve better than more high-rise apartments and parking lots. Let the citizens of St. Francis provide input and decide what should be built on the Triangle. Thank you.
Thank you. Marty?
Marty Sahorsky, 3535 East Sevier. Previously, I've been here and I discussed my opposition to high-rise apartments for the following reasons: inconsistency with the comprehensive plan and future strategic development plan, a disregard for local ordinances, general lack of transparency, purposeful exclusion of public participation, and above all, people just don't want it. We've been doing these petition drives and we've been walking door to door around and most of the petitions we get are right around the area and they don't want it. But today we need to talk about taxes. We have all this development along the lake that was all part of the TIF funding and everything, and yet my taxes went up 2.5%. Building high-density towers with TIF funding in the short term will increase our taxes even further. This is simply because the tenants will be using services that will be paid for by the general fund. For example, some of the tenants may have children that attend St. Francis School District. So the school district will end up footing a bill for those students. And that, of course, comes back to our taxes. Instead of spending money on unwanted projects, I believe the mayor and the Common Council should focus on keeping our taxes in check. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marty. Sheila?
Thanks, Marty.
Thanks, Marty.
Oops.
Good evening. I'm Sheila Semro. I live at 3862 South Lake Drive. I'm extremely opposed to construction of high-rise residential structures on the Triangle. I am in favor of following the city's comprehensive plan and future strategic development plan. High-rise buildings are not an answer for creating density. In fact, it may be an unsuitable solution that undermines the character, livability, and social fabric, and even public health of a city. High-rises are not human scale. High-rise is simply so tall that they make no visual sense of pedestrian eye level. You can't even see the whole building unless you're in another high-rise. The Preservation Institute tells us that when you walk through a traditional urban neighborhood with 2 to 3 stories high, the buildings are 2 to 3 stories high, you can see the faces of people looking out the window. And you can see personalizing details like flower pots and windows. When you walk through a high-rise neighborhood, you can't even see this sort of thing. You lose sight of the human scale in high-rise neighborhoods. According to the Making Cities Livable International Council, the construction industry is a powerful engine for fueling economic development. Tall buildings offer increased profits for developers. On the other hand, Making Cities Livable says small footprint shops and apartments in a fine textured urban fabric yield smaller profits, but they're spread out among many more individuals and businesses in the community. Over centuries, this human-scale urban fabric has proved adaptable to changing political and economic times, making the community resilient and durable. The city of Paris, with buildings no taller than 100 feet, supports continuous retail along the street,
Sheila, you got 15 more seconds, please.
making every neighborhood walkable.
Thank you. Kendall? Hi.
Kendall Fulmer, 3966 South Packard Avenue. I came here today also to talk about a few things that have already been brought up, so it was actually interesting to hear some of these same sentiments. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is the development of the triangle. I continue to want to ask for some clarity on that development. I have had a few concerns in an example of the planning commission or planning committee meeting tonight that is supposed to be happening on the fourth Wednesdays of the month, and then it was changed to a Tuesday evening. So
Normally don't go back and forth, but we did that for one of the commissioners on there because it was Ash Wednesday. So then we changed it to Tuesday. It's normally that.
and it would be the fourth Wednesday of the month is when it's posted.
99.9% of the time, that's where it is.
Correct. And so that is where I, again, come saying that if you're not refreshing your calendar on the city's website, if you're not staying in tune with that, which I would venture to say a lot of people aren't able to do that on a regular basis, those things can go missed by our citizens, and that we want to be able to attend these meetings and be present, and if we're not aware of those things where they're posted, that becomes increasingly challenging. So meetings like tonight are really important for us to be able to attend and be aware of, and just being open and honest with our citizens about what's going on, because another concern was, you know, I've heard several times from council members that we don't know anything about what's going on with the plans, with the triangle, especially that was more so in the fall. But I think that there are more details that are available, and that we had a public hearing before the final PUD was announced, and we don't even have a final PUD, but you know, a lot of people on the committee are not willing to or able to comment on that until we have a final PUD. But that poses a challenge to our citizens that we're not able to really reflect and comment ourselves on that if we don't have the full
15 more seconds, please.
information as well. So again, my ask is just for transparency, information, and having the city involve us in public spaces. Thank you.
Thank you. Dana? Hi.
Hi, my name is Donna Cook. I'm out of 3828 South Lake Drive. I'm here today with my husband and my son. I've been living in St. Francis for about 10 years. When I first moved in, my real estate agent pointed over to the triangle and said one day that is going to be shopping centers and it's going to be more of a commercial area where you can have more of a community type feel, where people that are all living in these houses and in these townhouses and in all this residential can have a place to congregate. I thought that was very appealing right off the bat, part of the reason why I wanted to move here, and now I have a husband and a son, and we're all here together. I'm very much against having any sort of high-rise and more residential, because you have all this residential already existing. Give people a place to go. Give them a place where they can congregate, where they can really build a community. If you want to make a legacy for yourself, you want to know that you built a community, that you really made St. Francis somewhere that people want to visit. I travel all over the state of Wisconsin for my job. And many times I've been told, and I work with surgeons all over the state, and a lot of times people will tell me, you live in one of the most beautiful parts of Milwaukee. And I couldn't agree with them more. And why take something that is such a beautiful part of our city and cover it up and make it, you know, something with a parking lot and high rises? And that's not what we want to add more to this community. We want to really build it up and take advantage of what we already have and all the great people that live here already. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Mary Haven? Mary?
Good evening, Council. This is Mary Haven. I live at 3505 East Sevier Avenue here in St. Francis. Of course, I agree with all the sentiments that we've already talked about. Briefly, I just want to say that since I've been in the Milwaukee, St. Francis area since 2017, That particular drive was always just a highlight. As I was looking at it the last few days, with the new apartments already in construction across Lake Drive, and the removal of all the greenery and the trees, although it's during the construction phase, it's very disheartening. It's acceptable, but I just really want to say, please, 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 if the decision comes to you for a vote on this project, this current proposal, please go to the space, walk the space at different times of the day, look at it, see where people are hanging out, look at the cars, look at the pedestrians. It's very, very important to understand the space, and we know already that that is such an important piece. It's really the last piece of St. Francis that we have an option to do something amazing. It's one chance. So please put extreme thought and research into all the factors that you're faced with, and hopefully we will not have this project move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak for citizens' comments?
Jane Stolz, 1430 South Lake Drive, The Landing. I didn't expect that I would be up here, but I am in support of my neighbors that we are against the high-rise in the triangle. I lived on the south side for over 30 years, 16 years in St. Francis itself, and I too am concerned about the quality of living here. My husband and I are on the Oak Leaf Trail daily. We have enjoyed the area up to now. We've seen a lot of buildings being built during our time on the side of town. I too expected a better thought process going into what would happen to the triangle. So I support some development. I know it's going to happen anyway, but certainly something much smaller than a high-rise. I lived in Bayview Terrace, and that was an eyesore in itself. And I do not want another eyesore here in St. Francis. Something that most of us can enjoy who live here now. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. Consent agenda. Is there any older person like anything removed?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Recommendation of action from committees, commissions, and boards. Action to be taken from the licensing committee meeting held February 17th, 2026. Don?
Mayor, we're looking for approval for two beverage operator licenses, one for Matthew Solik and one for Maverick Lear.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Also, we had one denial for application issues, and that is all from licensing, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Don. Action to be taken from finance? None. Action to be taken from bargaining? None. Action to be taken for Board of Public Works? None. Action to be taken from the Planning Commission meeting held February
Mayor,
17th, 2026.
Mayor, I move to accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission to repeal and recreate Section 455-59 of the Code of Ordinances and to have the public hearing be set.
Can we get a little explainer?
Oh, you missed the Planning Commission. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the ordinance revision is to bring our code into compliance with state statute. Prior to 2018, state statute supported or specifically provided for a protest provision for residents with respect to zoning amendments or additions. That statutory provision was repealed, and but it left open, the original repealer by the state legislature left open a municipal option to have it in your code that you could allow for protests by neighboring residences of changes to zoning. That, however, was changed, and again, in June of 2023 by 2023 Wisconsin Act 16, which created a sunset provision for municipal ordinances that had that type of protest provision in them. And so that sunset provision actually expired effective January 1, 2025. So we are now past the time under state law that we have to remove that protest provision. And so this ordinance removes that and brings us into compliance with the provisions of Chapter 66 as far as how zoning amendments and changes are approved in the manner that they're approved. So,
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Resolutions and ordinances? None. Discussion, yeah, let me try that one again. Discussion items with possible action. Dispensing display for public health harm reduction supplies. Jackie? And for those that don't know you, can you introduce yourself?
Jackie Ovi, I'm the Public Health Administrator serving the Joint Health Department, South Milwaukee St. Francis Health Department. You received a letter from me regarding placing a dispensing display for harm reduction materials in the vestibule located by the police department. I also included a photo of what that would look like. Similar to what we have here in the rotunda, it would have a table, and then we would put the dispenser in between the police department and City Hall. We have looked into, due to requests, we've had about a dozen requests from residents, and we had some discussion at our Healthy Community Partnership, which is a joint health improvement committee for the two communities. And there's been some requests about looking into a vending machine for St. Francis. And the state and the county no longer have funds available for a vending machine. When we did get that grant, it was $55,000 to actually put a vending machine out, to buy the materials that go into it. So this would be another cheaper option, and it would have it available for those that need it and would like to be anonymous in obtaining those materials. So our recommendation would be to have the naloxone available, drug test kits. We currently have condoms that we've been had available at our health department the whole time, medication disposal bags, and then from the police department, they're willing to supply us some gun locks to also be placed there. With the vending machine that we have located in South Milwaukee, gun locks have been the #1 thing that is taken from that vending machine. So that it's been a real win to have that partnership with the police department. So we're requesting that you approve placing that, that stand in the vestibule, and we will monitor it and maintain the supplies as necessary. There'll also be some information folders for substance use and for mental health available with those items. Questions?
No, I just comment all of these things are a public health emergency. We're dealing with drug crises. We're dealing with the need for naloxone and gun security. So I am very much in favor of what you're presenting, and thank you for bringing it this evening.
Thanks, Jackie, for looking into that for us.
And no machine, just will be an open display, and we'll have naloxone. So that's the opioid reversal medication that's widely available already throughout Milwaukee County. And then we'll have drug test kits. So if people are concerned about fentanyl in their drugs, they can test them. Gun locks, condoms. Our biggest numbers for communicable disease, I'm sorry, but have been for many years, is chlamydia and gonorrhea. We want to prevent that, so we have condoms available. And then we would also have medication disposal bags. So people can actually, it's a charcoal bag, and so they can bring their drugs to the police department to dispose of, or they can dispose of it into that bag, and then it neutralizes the drug, and that goes into the trash. So they'd take it home. They can do that at home. Yeah. We've helped many people that have come into the health department with bottles of medication and don't know, some liquids and those kind of things, and we walk them through that process. And this would be available here. It would be convenient for your residents.
Do-
And as far as the police department, what's their thoughts on doing this here? And I guess the liability issues here, you know, they're coming into the health department in South Milwaukee to do this?
Actually, yeah, they come into the health department, or they use the vending machine that's out, right outside the doors at South Milwaukee City Hall.
It's right in front of the doors. I've been to the committee meetings, and this is, I mean, I pass it every time I go into South Milwaukee City Hall. And if we had our health department, I'm saying if it was as it was in the past, something, they would be able to walk in and go into the health department and get these kind of things. So this is nothing out of the ordinary. It's more than time for us to have this available for residents.
I don't know, I think the vending machine would be a better idea than just having condoms and medical supplies sitting on a table.
So
Well,
I
it's the
can,
same
I don't
thing.
think,
Actually, it's
I
the
don't
same
think
thing
having
now.
condoms and medical paper sitting on a table in City Hall is appropriate. I think if we're gonna do it, go ahead and do it, but have it in a vending machine where it's not just laying out on a city table.
so the $50,000 cost of a vending machine is not going to do anything other than make them take the time to push a button on the machine, because there's no cost to the machine for them to obtain this material. So you're just putting it on the table.
I
It's
think
still
it has
visible in the
In
machine.
my opinion, it has something to do with the general appearance of the city, and I would not be allowed to have condoms laying around the kitchen table, much less a table in the middle of City Hall.
I'm positive that there's a way to find, like,
Discretion.
yeah, like a little library type thing that could, you know, put it in, and it would do a huge service to the residents of our community that need it.
We're supportive of this initiative, especially securing firearms. And we know that's a big problem throughout Milwaukee County, and we want to encourage people to be responsible gun owners.
I'll move to place letter on file and take the appropriate action to get this display into the vestibule in City Hall.
Second.
Any further discussion? Go ahead.
Yep. So are we gonna have this, is it gonna be sitting on a table, or, I agree with Don here, I just kinda leery about all this stuff just laying on a table and people can walk in and it's a little different if it's in a vending machine or there's something they gotta open up to get it out of. Just makes it a little more secure, I think.
So what if we put a curtain around the table and just told them the materials are available in there, seek for yourself? I mean, we're getting hung up on semantics. The materials are the materials. You're either going to see them through a glass door that's going to cost us $50,000, or you're going to see them displayed on a board, properly presented the way she showed us in the pictures, not spending $50,000, not wasting that taxpayer money to give them access to what they're already going to have access to. If it's about the appearance, put it behind a curtain.
And I'm not for spending $50,000 on a vending machine, no vending machine, but I think there's a different way of presenting this and putting it out there if we're gonna have it sitting out there than just leaving it on a table like you put a bunch of pamphlets.
My motion included the word appropriate.
Right.
And I think
And
that.
was my concern was.
I think that between city staff and we've got a lot of bright people that can find a correct and appropriate way to display these materials.
Jackie, I just have a question for you, or a couple questions. You said in South Milwaukee there's somebody available. Maybe I misunderstood, but like there's somebody available in the health department to discuss if they have questions or something. And it doesn't sound like we would have that scenario here.
Right.
So my question related to that would be like the fentanyl test strips and the naloxone. Is there going to be like informational material as to how to use those items
Yes, the kits come with instructions, and there's also QR codes that they can scan, and it'll take them right to our South Shore Cares website, where there's instructions that are on there on how to use the xylazine and fentanyl test strips.
Thank you.
We had a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Yeah, Stephen, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Moving on. Appointments to committees, none. Correspondence with possible action, none. Unfinished business, none. Other business, none. Department heads, Young William.
Evening, excuse me, good evening. I just want to provide a couple updates on two topics, the street improvement plans and the odor issue on KK and Lunham. As far as the street improvements plan, we're nearing the design and moving towards a bidding process. But we are doing a little bit of a shift in the project at this point. The reason being, early in the process, we typically share our project plans with local utilities to ensure that there's not other projects planned that would impact ours. In this case, early in the process, we notified Milwaukee Water Works, and we learned in early February that they do have some main replacements that are planned as early as 2027 on about half the streets we're doing. Not surprising because of the condition of the streets. However, the last thing we want to do is redo curb and pavement only for it to be torn up the following year. So we're cutting down the project in about half. Essentially, the streets we still will be doing will be Ellen, Kansas, Vermont, Eden Place. The remainder of the streets will still be fully designed, but we will continue to work with Milwaukee Water Works in an attempt to move this onto the 2027 programming. At this point, unfortunately, Milwaukee Water Works has basically said that their planning is for 2027 at the earliest. So what we'll do is try to work with them to urge them to be able to commit to a year so that we don't have these surprises again. In the past, we've asked for a 5-year plan, and in this case, we're just notified of these improvements that are happening next year, presumably. So doesn't impact anything that we're necessarily doing in design or anything like that. Shouldn't impact the length of the project other than shortening it slightly. But at this point, we're about 2 weeks away from moving into a advertisement for bid mid-March. We're just confirming dates, but we'll have a preliminary special assessment hearing for the streets we're planning to do with a award of bid planned primarily or preliminarily right around April 7th. So we'll keep you in the loop as we go through those items, but just wanted to give you an update at this point. Last thing, the KK Lunham odor issue. We talked about this for quite some time. About a month ago, we submitted a memo to MMSD with some of the suggestions. At this point, we're working with Paul to be able to review an ordinance that we recommend bringing in for lift stations. At that point, we will also provide a presentation as far as some of the findings that we had. One thing that I can tell you is that at our request, we had made a request to MMSD to change one of the manholes, which was the, I would say, the largest odor issue to a sealed gasket manhole. That was done in January. So we did see some progress from MMSD, and now there's some additional items that we expect to take from a maintenance standpoint, which we'll present more than likely in March. So the other items, fairly minor at this point, but if you have any questions, we can certainly answer those. Otherwise, with that, I pass.
Thank you, Bill. Amy?
Chief, something that Rick Bonovich earlier. year, we do have the building assessment from MSA. It is a long list of items that need, some are cosmetic, a lot of them are very minor, and a lot of the bigger projects are things that have been included in our capital projects plan. The board did have a chance to talk to Bill and Justine about the recommendations and the costs. And the board is, well, Steve Wadowa, the board president, is going forming a building maintenance committee. And hopefully some members of the public, so if you would like to speak to either Wadowa, and we'll prioritize the work and making the necessary improvements to the library.
Thank you, Amy. Chief Poplar?
Anyway, with that out of the way, we do have something, and I will work with staff, and I think we'll conquer everyone's fear. Going back to last week, and we're lightening it up now, we brought back 11 candidates for offers. Draft day happens on March 6th, so the Fire Academy starts in May.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Feldmeyer.
Thank you. I probably should have said this during my introduction. This is literally day 2. I don't have a whole lot to report, but I do thank everybody that's made this transition painless for me.
Oh, shoot, we failed.
I will have more information at the next. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I got to pass you. You already had your turn. Ann?
I really feel bad because we haven't terrorized you enough. I'm losing my game here. We are in the process. We have interviews this week for the city clerk treasurer position. My goal is that we would have a recommendation for the March 3rd meeting on my replacement, because we want to be able to have some time to do training and so that I can leave the city in great hands. Election is April 7th. We're rolling out our Badger books. Rebecca has been working diligently on getting them set up. She's had one training already. We have another one on the 28th of February, so election will be a little different going forward. With that, I'm done.
Thank you. Paul?
I'm just going to say welcome to Chief Feldmeyer, and don't let Ann torture you. And, ask.
She'll be gone in June.
May.
May 31st is your last day, so June you'll be gone. True. Mark? Thank you. Matt?
Thanks, Mayor. First, I want to welcome our new police chief. I hope you have a smooth transition into St. Francis, and we're really happy to have leadership at the top. So thank you for being here. Also want to thank all the new and recurring faces that I've been seeing come out, and talk about the high-rise on the Triangle property. I remain open to any and all feedback, and I am very interested, like the rest of you, in seeing what the final PUD comes together, and I will continue to listen. Lastly, I wanted to read from the Journal Sentinel. Cudahy. They can't open their windows on a spring day. They gag. Sometimes they have to cover their mouths and noses while walking from the car to their front doors. Every time someone flushes the toilet, it smells, it seems, said Jim Torsiva, who is one of about a dozen people who live in an especially unlucky and especially smelly stretch of East Lunham Avenue in Cudahy. The article goes on to talk about the standpipe and everything else. That article is dated January 28th, 2009. And I am, for one, very happy that you're taking, appropriate actions on that standpipe and sewer. Every time I drive past it, I've gotten neighbor complaints. It's a small issue at the end of the day, but it's something that, shows like that we're finally doing something about it. It's also one of those things where it's like a multi-governmental agency sort of problem that nobody wants to take responsibility for. So, Bill, I really appreciate your efforts there. I know it hasn't been easy, and I'm glad to hear that there's at least some relief in the area now. So with that, I'll pass.
Thank you. Steve?
Two things, Chief Poplar, thanks for offering that solution to that problem there. Appreciate that. And Chief Feldmeyer, welcome to the city. I look forward to working with you. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Don?
I also would like to thank Chief Poplar for coming up with a solution to the problem. I have no issues with that dispensing machine being remodeled or whatever to work. It beats putting things on a table behind a shower curtain.
Only Don.
I also want to welcome the chief to a community that is welcomed him with open arms. And last but not least, I'm glad that the Jones Island beach smell has gone away. And we can work on other small issues in the city without having to deal with stench. And with that, I pass.
Don? Debbie?
Thanks, Chief. You made everybody happy up here now. And I want to just welcome you, Chief.
Thank you. Sarah?
Again, welcome, Chief Feldmeyer. We're very glad to have you here. Chief Poplar, thank you so much for that idea and offer. I think that is wonderful teamwork and a great offer. And you are 100% correct. We have a huge mental health problem in Milwaukee County. Not something that is often talked about freely, but it's there. We need to just address it. So thank you. Also, Amy and Bill, thank you for the cooperation to put together that report for the library and the needs that are there for whatever needs to be done to get that building back into ship shape, if that's what we're going to move forward with. Thank you.
Thanks. Sean?
Thank you, Jackie, for coming tonight, presenting. Amy, thank you for being here, and department heads in general. I appreciate it. And Chief Feldmeyer, welcome to the party. I have a lot of notes this evening. So first of all, the cost of the library and the ongoing repairs, we were given a very extensive list 2 weeks ago during the council meeting in these chambers, so that's probably why you didn't see a large presence from us. We got a very detailed list from a citizen in the audience this evening. As far as library funding coming from the city, almost all of the funding comes from city tax levy. It's controlled by the library board. It comes from the city tax levy. To be clear, it's already from the city. There's nothing more to give. What they have is what they have to utilize. So you're selling a false narrative, please stop. With regard to the triangle, the PUD is not just those two developments you're so hyper-focused on. There are 6 to 7 other developments that are retail, medical, and other use in that space. It's not just those 2 buildings. And as far as TIFs and TID, I'm going to give you a brief education with simple numbers because we don't have time for tax accountants. If that property was valued at $500,000 when they opened the TID nearly 20 years ago, it probably garnered about $5,000 worth of tax levy. When we opened the TID, the clock started. It's a 20 to 27-year clock for TIDs, depending on what type of TID you're working on. We're in the latter portion of that process. During that process, any funds that were given to develop, let's say it's a $10 million development, now you've got $100,000 in taxable revenue. That $5,000 that you previously got still goes to the tax levy. The other $95,000 pays back the city the money that was loaned to help that developer make that development happen. It's not free money. It's coming back. At the end of the TID, this is the part nobody's telling you. At the end of the TID, when it hits maturity, that $100,000 tax goes entirely to the levy. And that TID doesn't start a new clock with every new development. So that clock started decades ago. That clock is nearing the end of its life. Putting this new development in doesn't start a new 20-year clock. That's not what's happening, and that's what's being sold. So there's a lot more information to be had. We don't know everything about the planned development, but we do know it's a combination of retail, medical, coffee shop, a bank. These are all ideas they've thrown out. We're fixated on 2 housing arrangements in that property. And that property, by the way, was a substation from the former power plant. It was an unsightly atrocity that is an undeveloped blank piece of land. It's not a lovely greenscape. We have an opportunity to develop it. A TID, the purpose of a TID is to maximize your taxpayer dollars in a development that's going to maximize our revenue within the city. We have to mix a combination of appropriate use with desired use. But at the end of the day, we have to give you an investment that's going to give you the best return at the end of that TID. That's what we have to do. It's not popular. We don't enjoy it, but we have to come up with a way to try to lower your taxes. We complain about taxes, but we don't want development. If you don't have development, you don't develop new tax revenue. The only way you get more revenue is the way we've been seeing it in the 8 years that I've experienced my taxes almost double. Until you develop, you're not going to lower that tax base for the rest of us. And we're nearing the end of the cycle of that TID. We're not going to have the opportunity in a few years to have the development. We're going to lose that window. Last thing I'm going to say is this is a positive note. I want to give a shout out to our frontline workforce because it is their tireless day-to-day tasks that keep this city running. It is the tree removal. It is the street cleaning. It is the fire rescue. It is the police, law enforcement who are involved in more communities than just the city of St. Francis. They're involved in multi-district gang arrests, drug arrests. We have very talented employees in this city, and it's something we should all be proud of, and I think we need to recognize them more. And with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Sean. And as Matt and I believe Don said, thank you for everyone that's come here. I appreciate it. We will always listen. Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, we were supposed to have a tour of your building, it was canceled. Can we get that back on the calendar? Because it was supposed to show us where all the maintenance problems was. I think that'll help everyone up here instead of coming to the library board meeting, which is great, but a tour of it. Okay, appreciate that. Chief Poplar, you're a genius.
Oh, God.
If you got all six of them agreeing, you're a genius.
I gotta deal with that all day tomorrow.
I do have one question, though. When we have the peanut butter raising for the collection? No, but are we going to continue what we started a few years ago where the police department was gonna collect jam to try to compete with the peanut butter? Because I thought that was pretty tremendous, yes.
I think we need loopers.
Is the last time we did it by weight, and we all know that the majority of jelly comes in glass. So we're gonna change that. By jar.
I'll just put, we'll just put weights on them. Thank you. Chief Feldemar, this is what you're getting into. Welcome aboard.
Run away.
I look forward to working with you, sir. And, as a little bird just put in my ear, Citizen of the Year tickets are still on sale to February 25th or 28th?
25.
Okay, and it is March what? 7th. So you can stop at City Hall to get those tickets if you want. It's going to be at the Lions Club. And do we know who the Citizen of the Year was?
No. Me.
Ann. Well deserved. And now, Mayor's report. Kidding. Can I get a motion?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.